Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. I think we'll start again. I'm sorry about the delay. I think we've just all been having some technical difficulties. But I'm really glad to have you on, Benedict. I think before I start or before I introduce you, I just want to give everyone an idea of what the purpose that everyone is joined today and why I'm doing what I do. I think all of you guys know on a personal level why I started these conversations. Initially, it was something just out of curiosity. And I thought that I can't be the only one with the same questions because they usually say that when you think you have a stupid question or you have a question, most other people have the same question. So this is me just sharing my curiosity with everyone else. And I think today we have such an interesting, a dynamic guest to have this conversation with. And I'm not one to do introductions. I think I prefer when people introduce themselves because they know themselves best and what they would like people to know about them. So without taking up any more time, thanks again, Benedict, for joining us. If you could just tell us who a little bit about yourself, who's Benedict, what do you do? Yeah.
So, my name is Benedicte Mundele Kuvuna. I'm an entrepreneur. I run a company named Surprise Tropicale. It's a juice processing company.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I have Agriboost Consulting. It's a consulting company where we do the consulting on agriculture side, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of projects that I run in agriculture on the side, and I'm also in education, where I am in Kuvuna Foundation, where we work with young people, youth on leadership and entrepreneurship. Yeah, this is in general.
Okay. And how exactly did you find yourself? Was Surprise Tropical the first company that you started?
Yeah, exactly. So it was in 2000, I think I was in high school. So we were like, they just asked us to do a homework on how to design a card, business card. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone was just trying to put name on their business card,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw a name Chopin Tropical on a book. So it was a receipt, like when you have pineapple inside, there are a lot of fruits inside.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there and I just put in my business card, founder of Surprise Tropical. So I've started to give people my business card. It was a homework, but I end up starting giving people my business card, Surprise Tropical, and then it's become a reality for me because I've been trying to do some research, understanding what is it. Sorry, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you now.
Yeah, I
Your
was
camera
trying
is
to see
tilted
and
though. Can
understand
you,
what is
sorry, do you mind flipping
food.
your camera? Because we are seeing it in it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was trying to do some research about food innovation, food, everything about tropical fruit and vegetable. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was starting to say to people, I think I will start doing my company on fruit and vegetables because I just realized we have a lot of fruit and vegetables. And then it's become for me a curiosity. So my
Mm-hmm.
curiosity started as a curiosity, and then I end up having a business in that field.
And
So
this was
yeah,
still in high school when you started making the juices.
So in high school, I think it was just a game for me. As I was
Mhm.
saying, it was just a curiosity. I've
Mhm.
been asking myself, how can I do a company with juice and vegetables? And then when I start university, I've tried to be more focused on that. And
Mhm.
then at the end of my university, then I started the company.
Okay. So, currently with Surprise Tropical, do you provide your juices? Do you have like a place where you provide them? Do you retailers? Do you export them? Who exactly are you selling them to?
So actually, we make juice and then we sell it in different places. But at the beginning, it was more about just selling it in event kiosk because it's fresh juice.
Oh, oh,
And then in 2019, we opened a juice bar. It was the first juice bar in Kinshasa. So we opened the juice bar, and then in 2019, we just closed the juice bar because of some challenge that we had in 2021. And then this year, before the end of the year, we are going to launch our new activities.
okay. That's good. We'll keep our ears and our eyes open for that one. Um,
Yeah.
I think I'm this is the part of the conversation that I'm really interested to get into. Because when we had a conversation a few weeks ago, you said something I think that really got to me, and I thought it was very interesting. And you said you're more interested in speaking about your expertise and your knowledge on the food industry and the food space in Congo. And I think for me that was one of the reasons that again triggered, like I said, my curiosity and my questions. I think because if like everyone knows on this call, um, we've just or we I don't know if we've got come out of it or we're still in it, but we've had COVID. There's the war in Ukraine. There's the supply chain challenges, and there's the hoarding of the wheat. There's just the world is just in an interesting place. And I had seen someone had posted, I think on LinkedIn, about how Africa is so dependent on wheat imports from other countries, for example, even Ukraine. And
Mhm.
that person had just spoken about how we have so many alternatives that we could be leveraging on the continent, but it's not currently happening because we're very dependent firstly on wheat and on maize. And he was just putting a call out to say like what is it that we're doing and what is it that can be done to ensure that we are not like what happened with the vaccines. There was the vaccine hoarding, and Africa was just given, the leftovers. We don't end up with the leftovers, and we don't end up again in situations that we found ourselves in the past. So I think my first question would be, what do you think can be done, or what do you think Congolese people in Congo can be done to leverage this opportunity or this situation that we currently find ourselves with? And what are you doing? You spoke about Agriboost Consulting. I'm sure you work with a lot of companies in the space. So yeah. Oh, she gone. I think we've lost her. I Sorry about that, guys. I'm just trying to get hold of Benedict. If you can just give me a few minutes. I think she's struggling with her connection. She's back. I think you're on mute.
Sorry. I just had cuts on my connection.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Did you get my last question?
Yeah, okay. So the question was about our dependence on eating. So I think I will go with a statement that a person who says uh, African was very happy that when they got their independence, they were very, very happy. But we cannot call it independence because we are still depending on other people to eat. Like if we go from DRC or many other African country, you will see there is a high dependence on the f- the food, because
Yeah.
we most of the products, the first uh, what we say in French matière première that
Yeah.
we use come from overseas. So we cannot call it independence with
Yeah.
if all those things that we need to create food or to process food or to eat, we have to chase it from overseas. So
Mm.
I can say it's still a challenge that we need to take in consideration. The first
Mm.
thing I always say to people, like, it's our mindset about agriculture. How do we view agriculture? I
Mm.
can say most of people, like if you tell a young person, uh, what do you want to do when you grow up? Most of them will say, I want to do law, I don't want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But there are not many young people who can say, I want to be in agriculture. Because
Mm.
the view of agriculture was seen like for people who lived in villages.
Mm.
Like my experience about agriculture when I was kid, it was when you are in school, when you do something bad, the teacher will go tell you, va au champ, va faire le champ, en fait. So for me in Catholic school, I can say it was the experience that I had about agriculture. It
Mm.
was a punishment.
Oh.
So, and then I think many young people, they see agriculture as maybe like my experience. Other
Mm.
people, they had an experience of, they know a grandfather an uncle who he doesn't have a lot of money, who will stay in the village. The only thing he does is agriculture.
Mm.
So many other people, they don't have reference on people who have succeeded on agriculture. So it's the reason why you will see there are not many people, many young people who have references on people who succeed in agriculture. It's the reason why we don't have a lot of people in agriculture. So the
Mm.
first thing that we have to do to increase the agriculture is to change our mindset or our view about agriculture. How can we rebrand agriculture in Africa?
Mm.
We need to do a big rebranding on agriculture.
Mm.
When someone wants to start a bank, they will not allow anyone to start a bank. They will
Mm.
say, you don't have money, you can't start a bank, because we take it seriously. But
Yeah.
if someone wants to do agriculture, they will say, you don't have job, go start agriculture. You don't have money, go just start agriculture.
So it's
So
the opposite.
yeah, it's like for people who don't have money. And then you will also see our parents, when they go to retreat, they're like, okay, now I can think about agriculture because I don't have thing to do. So
Mm.
agriculture, it's like we need to start rebranding agriculture in Africa, so we
Mm.
can have a lot of people coming in agriculture, taking agriculture very seriously, because we don't want to send everyone to go to agriculture. We need to think about how to industrialize agriculture in Africa,
Yeah.
in Congo, especially because I can say Congo is a country where there is a lot of food paradox in Africa. Like
Mm.
you can just say we have 80 million of fertile lands, but we don't have food. How can we explain it? We have a lot of space, but we can't provide food for people. So I think we have to think about it. And
Mm.
why also we do it? We have to do it in Congo. Like the population now, it's increasing,
What's the
and then
population now?
I think we are more than 80, 80 million.
Oh, 80 million. Yeah.
80 million, more than 80 million of the population
Mm.
in the whole Africa, in the whole DRC.
Mm.
But the number, the statistic is showing that the number will increase in many other years. So
Yeah.
we will be like the I think the ninth biggest country in the world. Imagine the statistic is showing that we are increasing,
Mm.
but the rate of the food increasing, it's very slow.
Sorry, I
We are
have a quick question. I think the data and the numbers really matter. With the population, the current population of 80 million, do you know if there's any like statistics to show that how much of the food that the population is currently consuming is was produced in Congo? Is there any data around that?
yeah, there are some datas because I don't have it in my head, but
Mm.
there's some head data that is showing that uh the in the number of the food increasing food, it's very slow because we have a lot of people who are suffering about malnutrition. So
Mm.
malnutrition percentage also is very high. So if right now we don't have enough food to provide to the population who are now, and
Mm.
then how do we think about the population who are coming?
Mm.
So we can even have war, la guerre de la nourriture, because
Like,
everyone
yeah,
wants to eat,
yeah,
but there is not much food for them to provide to them. So
yeah.
it's reason why we need to take agriculture, food very, very seriously. So this is the first point that I was talking about, the branding
Mm.
on agriculture. The second
Mm.
thing I will talk about the value chain. So
Yeah, I
when
was actually just about to ask that because it's so broad.
yeah, everyone when we say about okay, go invest in agriculture,
They think
everyone
it's just
talk
a
about
farm.
just farming.
Yeah.
Agriculture is more than farming. We
Mm.
can think about how to create a value chain on that. Me,
Mhm.
I'm farming. I want someone who will transport my food from farm to the market.
Mhm.
There is another business there, distribution side, and then the person who are in the market, I want someone who can transform what I'm selling, who can buy what I'm selling. So we need maybe people who will transform food. Another person can say I want bottles for putting my juice inside. I
Mhm.
want so manufacturing is coming. And then
Mhm.
the eating side as well, we have bad eating habits. Someone can say, okay, how can I do the eating habits very well for people who are eating?
Mhm.
And then the shopping, how people go to buy food because they are wasting food in the supermarket. How can we create new innovation on the eating? We have e-commerce, we have a lot of food selling. So there
Sorry,
is
I have a question around the waste. Is there a big, because I know in a lot of countries food waste is a big challenge, especially at the farm level and at the retail level. Is that also a big challenge in Congo?
yeah, this one of the huge challenge that we have
Mm.
because when you see the food that we have how to say post post
Harvest loss.
harvest
Mm.
lost during the farming lost and the we have before, in the moment, and after.
Mm.
So there is a lot of waste in that field. So
Mm.
before we can start, when we start before harvesting, it may be maybe there were a rain coming and then we lost the food,
Yeah.
or there were something about the land that was not good that made people losing the food. And during the harvesting, they can say, okay, we just produce food, but we don't have clients. There is no transport to bring from our product from back Congo uh, to Kinshasa. It's
Mm.
still, it's become a problem as well. Another
Mm.
person can say that we don't have how to say, after there is when we cook food in our in the restaurant, in parties, you can see how people just throw the food
Ah.
because people didn't eat. So we have a
Mm.
lot of waste, and
That's
it's
it.
all about not having a good value chain that creates that we have a lot of waste on food.
Mm. So it still feels like so when you spoke about all of that, it feels like it's a lot, right? Like there's a lot of things that need to be solved. So say
Exactly.
Josephine, I come to you, I don't know if this way Agriboost consulting would come in. And I say, look, I know there's opportunity here to help my fellow Congolese people and to help the country. Where do I start? What do I do? Like what would Agriboost consulting recommend I do or recommend I start? I mean, because like I think everyone heard there's a lot of problems. You don't even know where to start. Um, what would you recommend?
So I think the first thing, it's not about opportunity just in the market. You just have to see what do you want to do first.
Mm-hmm.
What is the problem that you want to solve? Because you just say, okay, I want to solve that problem. It's
Mm-hmm.
in that line that we can help you. Okay, you just realize there is that problem. We can
Mm-hmm.
help you, and then we can just say, because of that problem, we can propose to you this, 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 this. But in
Mm-hmm.
terms of opportunity, I can say there is first an opportunity on seeds. There are many
Yes.
farmers, but they don't have seeds. Most of the seeds that they have, they come from abroad, but you can create a company that creates seeds here. So this is an opportunity that people can take in consideration. Another things that
Mm-hmm.
in farming, you can see what are the products that are very consumed that I can do in how to say contre-saison.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the
Yes.
season of
The season.
bananas, and then
Yeah.
after there will not be banana in 2 months. So how can I create a way of farming that is contre saison?
Mm-hmm.
This is an opportunity as well, because you will be the only one in the market, so you can just put your product any time you want. There is
Mm-hmm.
another opportunity in the distribution side. So there are a lot of people who are producing, but there is still no a lot of company that think about how can I help farmers to bring their product in the market. So you can create a company that do the distribution side. You can buy transportations. I know there is a problem with road, but you can just design a solution around the transportation, the distribution
Interesting.
side on businesses. And you can just evaluate what exists already. How can I innovate on that side?
Mm-hmm.
And then there is another problem about the processing. The processing, we have almost, we produce, but there are not a lot of company on processing. So
Mm-hmm.
most of the problem that we have, most of us Congolese, when we start a company, we think about the markets that have money. But Chinese, when they come, they think about the big markets. They think
Mm.
about how can I put my product very cheap so it can be accessible to everyone. So I
Mm-hmm.
always say, when you want to do a processing company. I know I'm not an example on that because I'm in Kinshasa, but you have to put your company where you find the product. It can be in a village. You can put your transformation side in a village. I know there is no electricity. There are a lot of challenge, but it's
Mm-hmm.
a way to innovate. You can think about it. I know there are this and that challenge, but how can I do a processing unit here near the villages, near where you find the source. I think this is one of opportunity as well. You can think it will help allow you to have product cheaper, and then you can be selling it in many places. And I think there is another opportunity behind the processing. It's about companies that help to other people to have maybe packaging, because we don't have packaging company. Most of them, they are abroad, so we are sorry to buy our packaging outside of the country. There are one or two companies who are here, but we need to have a lot of companies so you can choose which company that you can have. So
I have
this
a
is
question. Sorry.
Mhm.
With
Yeah.
the you just mentioned packaging. I think it was today I saw a video. There were floods. I think it was in Kinshasa,
Mm.
and it were just hundreds, and I'd say hundreds and thousands of plastic bottles.
Yeah.
And I think you know the challenges with plastic and trying to remove plastic waste. And do you think um, it's on people's mind already that when I start a business, I should be cognizant of the kind of packaging I'm using, what it's doing to the environment, what it's doing to the country? Do you think people are there yet? Or is it just like I'll get any packaging? I don't care if it's recyclable, I don't care if it brings waste. Is there are people leaning towards trying to find solutions that reduce packaging or use packaging that's recyclable, biodegradable, etc.?
I think it's still not really everyone who think about it, because most of people, they want to make money, they want to do businesses. But I think we need to have a regulations of the state as well on in term of that. And then in company, like for me, I use plastic. I know it's bad, but I was thinking about how to create um a challenge on when you give back your plastic, you can have a gift. You
Yeah.
see, it's help us to take those bottle and give it to a recycle company, and then we feel more conscious about what is happening, so we are thinking about it. But I cannot tell it about every company, but on my side I was thinking about it when I saw the video, because I was like, okay, for me bottles are very expensive, but plastic is more accessible for me. So I can
Mhm.
use the plastic, but I can create a way so I can be involved on creating a solution on that. It's reason why I was thinking about promotion of people who are giving back the bottle when I will relaunch the activities. So I cannot tell about everybody, but I can say
Mhm.
about my side. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
I think the fact that you're already looking for solutions is a good thing. The fact that you're aware that it's a problem. So it's a start, right?
Yeah.
And eventually you will get there.
Mm. So I was sick. Yeah, opportunity. Yeah, there are also opportunity in shopping side. So how people get to buy the product, how people have access to those products. So there are people who made online platform where you can access those fruit and vegetables. There are people who have created a link between farmers and vendors. So vendors, farmer, and suppliers. So they just create some. I know there is a company in Kenya named Twiga Food. It's a
Yeah.
really one of the good company that exists. So yeah, you can just think about how technology can fit in the agriculture side.
Is there
So
anyone in Congo doing that yet?
yeah, there is another company named Kivu Green. It's in
Mm-hmm.
east of Congo.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are some companies that are thinking about technology as well. So think about how technology can fit in agriculture side.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can say in shopping as well, you can design a lot of solutions. How to create maybe a kiosk where people can buy fruit and vegetable from farmers, how to create a farmer markets where people can access fruit and vegetables. So there are a lot of direction that people can take. So I just give the view of opportunity that you can see in the value chain.
Mm. Okay, I think the pictures it like when you broke it down like that in the value chain, it gave quite a clear picture. I want to quickly go through my questions because I'm sure others might have questions. I think the first one or the next one that I wanted to ask was I think from my experience and from my learnings, I've realized the importance of partnerships and relationships in business. Like you
Mhm.
said, you mentioned the food value chain is really big. If I am a farmer, I depend on a distributor who depends on a retailer who depends on
Mhm.
a customer to come by. So everyone is dependent on someone. Sorry,
Mhm.
um, especially in the food landscape. Do you think that people in Congo leverage partnerships enough? And if not, what barriers do you think prevent people from leveraging partnerships in the food value chain?
I think partnership are happening, but there are a lot of challenge as well. So sometimes I ask myself, maybe we missed that lesson in school on how to collaborate because it was every time. You don't have to collaborate with your friends. You are
Ah,
cheating.
so
I think
you took
it's
it
still,
seriously.
yeah, exactly. So I think it's still a challenge on collaboration in businesses in Congo. But if everything is clear, everything is written somewhere, I have learned a lot of in partnership. I did a lot of mistake as well. So on my side, if I want to share an experience, a personal experience, when you want to collaborate with someone, everything needs to be clear at the beginning. I'm
On
bringing this,
paper.
you are bringing this,
Mm,
we write it on paper, and we know each of us responsibility and parts. We don't just come out, we are friends, let's just do business. Everything needs to be, why are we collaborating? And this is the starting point. So to know why are we collaborating. So I think this is something that can happen, but there is we need to think about collaboration because there's a lot of challenge on that line.
mm. And how is the government support like towards businesses? For example, like yours, you're female, you're young, um, you're very dynamic, you're intelligent. Is the government support enough? And have you ever received any government support?
So I was not very like, for me, every time I heard about something about government, I'm like, okay, no, I don't
Mm.
want to put my head in that.
Yeah.
But uh, recently, I just realized they are making some efforts because I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs receiving grants. I had an opportunity with FOGEC, Fonds de Garantie Congolais. So I have secured something with the FOGEC. So it's something that the president started. So I think they are now opening their eyes, but they will not just give you money because you are a young female entrepreneur starting
Mm,
something. Like for me, before I get that opportunity, they came and then analyze everything, the
mm,
financial statements, how we made money, so before they allowed me to have that money. So I think it's about the serious that you put in your business that will open doors for you as well, or
mm,
can close doors for you. So the government is trying. I know we cannot just say they are good and 100% or they are worst 100%, but they are trying, and trying is a big step that they can head. But it's also important to
mm,
an entrepreneur who are starting to have good network, good information, because when you don't have good information, you just heard about rumors. They are saying Congolese presidents are doing bad things, Congolese government are doing nothing. You just surround yourself on people who are saying those
Mhm.
things, you will not have information on what's happening really in the ground, and then you
Mhm.
will miss opportunities. Like for the first time I heard about COPA, people ask me, apply for COPA. And I was like, no, the government, I know how they work. It's not
Sorry,
a
what's
bill.
COPA?
It's a fund that the president, the Banque Mondiale and BAD
Ah,
gave to
okay.
the population. I was like, no, I'm not going to apply for that. I know how the government works. And then when I saw my friends receiving money, and I was like, okay, I had bad information then.
Mm.
So you have to be a very, very wise on what you let your ear to
Yeah,
hear,
yeah.
and then it will allow you to connect to great information. And
Mhm.
then an entrepreneur is always a person who good seek good informations.
Yeah,
Where are good information and how I
yeah.
can apply for this and that opportunity. And there are a lot of opportunity that we can apply, a lot.
Mm. And I think, like you said, also you have to be like an optimistic person. It's not when someone comes with information, you're like, ah, no, no, you're very pessimistic. I think you won't get
Exactly.
far if you have what is it, like a scarcity mindset. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. I think does anyone have a question before I continue? Actually, you can just raise your hand
At the end.
at the end. Okay,
Yeah.
Grace has a question. Grace, you can go ahead. I do, but I will be typing. Okay, no problem. I'll just read it out. I think while Grace types out her question, um, the the one I think it's you actually answered this question when you're explaining the different opportunities about the various challenges that there are for people starting businesses. So like you mentioned the infrastructure, the power, um, and you kept going back to yes, these problems are there, but we can find innovative solutions towards those problems. um,
Mhm.
how do you encourage people to look for these solutions? Do you go to like would you say going to universities? Because I think when you look at countries, for example, like the USA, a lot of industries were built. If you see centered around, for example, universities. So you look where Silicon Valley is. There's Stanford University,
Mhm.
and you see how much of a role that plays in the innovations. So where do you think we come up with these innovations, and how do you get it, especially young people, how do you get them thinking about like solving for these big problems that we're facing? Because um yeah, we do need solutions, very innovative
Mhm.
solutions.
Yeah, I think innovation is very, very important as well. Education, sorry, it's one of the big or important part that I missed to say. I think if there is one opportunity that we can look on, it's also innovation. So education. So we need to
Mhm.
think about how to create education system where young people can learn about opportunity on agriculture, how to innovate. On my side, I did a master program on food innovation, how to innovate in the whole value chain on agriculture. Since the day that I
Nice.
had those opportunities, I was now seeing the value chain as opportunities. So every time
Mhm.
people complain about something, I see opportunity behind. So I think
Mhm.
education is one of the key points. So another people can just say, I'm not going to farming, but I'm going to education. So people can be well educated on how to innovate in the value chain in agriculture. I had one crazy idea. I used to think about it, but maybe someone can just steal it from me.
Put it
We
out
know,
there.
in other countries we have Fab Lab, Laboratoire de
Yes, yes,
Fabrication.
yes.
So here
Yeah,
I think we have one or two Fab Labs, but
yeah.
I was thinking about Agri Lab. Why can't we have a agri lab, a place where people can create solution about all the problems that we have in agriculture? How can we prototype new solution? Like we have 3D prints, we have everything, we use technology. Like because we will attract young people in agriculture if
Exactly.
technology also is there. So
And you
imagine
know what?
instead of
No, sorry, continue. I'll.
yeah, instead of waiting for I don't know which country to create an innovation for us on agriculture, why can't we create a place, an agri lab, where young people design solution on agriculture? I think those are things that I was thinking about some couple of years. But
And
yeah,
I
if
know
someone
I
wants
really
to
like
join me, we
that
can think about it.
idea. No, I think it's a great idea. And especially a space where people are allowed to try, people are allowed to fail. They have,
Exactly.
they can, it's not like you're like in school where it's like you're also very restricted. And if you don't get it right, it's like, here's the instrument you need, here's the funding you need, go crazy, we'll support you. And I think that's when people's minds open up. So I like that idea. If anyone else on the call, um, you guys, I'll give Benedict's contact details after this, and then you guys can reach out to her. So Grace, I see Grace wrote two questions. Was it three questions? Is the majority of agriculture business only focused on the farming side? That's the first question. And then why do you think that there are not many people in the upper level of agro business? So I think, why do you think there are not many people on the other side of the value chain, in agro business, especially besides
Yeah, I think we
hello?
Hello, Josephine, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Can you
I
hear me?
think there is a lack of information in terms of the opportunity that exists in the value chain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think it's about sharing of information. Like right now, I'm sharing information. So in
Mm-hmm.
Agriboost as well, we share information. So sharing information is the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
We sharing information can make people coming in the in other parts of agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think sharing information and education side as well, because our education is very, instead of opening the opportunity in that direction as well.
Mm. I see Grace had another question, but Veridic had his hand up. So if you want to ask the question, and then we'll go back to Grace's question.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for the flow, Josephine. Thank you, Benedict, for the very insightful presentation. I'm Benedict Musambani. I'm based in Eastern Congo. I'm an entrepreneur in environmental protection and tourism. So I would like you to say what Agriboost is doing to help farmers, I don't know, in Western Congo to navigate the effects of climate change. Because in Eastern Congo, where I come from, now we are seeing changes in the pattern of precipitation, and many natural phenomena related to climate change, which are making harder for smallholder farmers to farm. So I'd like to
Mhm.
know if Agriboost has been, consulting with farmers in Western Congo related to adaptation, to climate change in agriculture. That's my first question. My second one is about the challenges you have been through being an entrepreneur in the DRC. I know being an entrepreneur is very difficult everywhere, but in the DRC, I believe it could be more difficult because there is we don't have a conducive environment for entrepreneurship. So I would like to understand what are to have you tell us what have been the challenges that you have faced, being an entrepreneur, a female entrepreneur, and an entrepreneur in the agricultural sector. Yeah, thank you. I, I hope I've made sense with my questions. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I think I didn't uh, listen very well. I think the first question was about the second question was about the challenge that I have seen. The first, what Agriboost is doing, right? So, yeah, if I can say Agriboost, it's more about the consulting. So people who want to invest in agriculture, they come in our office, they share about the project that uh, they have, and then we work with them so we can do étude du marché, how to analyze the market, how to analyze the
Mm,
land, so do the better proposition on which direction you should take regarding to your project. What are the proposition that we can make? It's really about consulting. So you come with your idea, or if you don't have an idea, we can work on through your passion or opportunity that we can propose to you.
okay.
So it's what we does. But there is also we were think we were working with a client that we were thinking about how he can do l'agriculture régénératrice. So in agriculture that respect the agriculture uh, ways of seeing, because there is also the lack of information. We are just seeing agriculture, asking people to go farming, but
Uh,
no one is telling us that your lands with some couple of years will have how to say, ça va se traumatiser, quoi. Like it will start not working well because of all the product that they receive, and then agriculture will become very hard. So
mm,
now we need to also think about how to create products that can uh, like the land resilience.
Yeah.
Like I saw somewhere where they do the biochar, so they create a biochar where they can have solution for the land, how to do nutrients on your lands. So there are some, we share information, and if a client wants to do that, he can do it, but we cannot impose clients to do what we think it's better. But we give information to our clients. So yeah. And
okay.
then the challenge, regarding the challenge, yeah, I've seen a lot of challenge. On my side, I can say, when you have problems, and then when you have solution on that, you forget about it on details. But I have a lot of challenges. So I can say accessing the market can be a huge problem, because sometimes we just end up creating a solution, and we think our client will like our solution. So you are in your house, and then you create a solution, and you think everyone will be your client, and then you just realize, it was just a dream. So I need to understand the reality on the ground. So we didn't have all those information before we go to uh, the businesses. So we are learning from the ground. So I think the young generation that are having the young generation who are having new trainings, information, are lucky because they have more information. So I think there is a lack of information that can be also a challenge, because the more you have information, you can avoid a lot of problems as well. As I end up, example, paying some taxes that was not for me, because I didn't have information. So having information will allow you to avoid a lot of problems. So I think that was one of the challenges that I had in the beginning. So I learned to read, I have learned to ask questions, I have learned to go to the source of information. And then when you have challenge, when you also have another challenge of access to the market, where you have to do the study of your market before you start your business. So that was a challenge that I had as well, because I have my beautiful idea on my head, but I didn't know how the ground will react on that. So yeah, there are a lot of challenge, a lot, really a lot. But in each challenge, there is an opportunity behind. In each challenge, there is a way of you to grow and to discover yourself as well. I always say to people, you don't have to change your vision, but you can. I saw it in a book, The Lean Startup. There is a vision there. Everyone have the vision. You have to. The vision never change, but your strat and then you have your strategy. Your strategy can pivot, like you can make some review on your strategic regarding what are seeing on the ground, but the activities can change. What people see, they see activities, so you can change your activity based on your vision, because I'm not meeting my vision, so I can change. So every time you have challenge, every time you have problems, you need to see it in both ways. You need to see it, should I change my strategy? Should I review my strategy? Should I change my activities, or should I push it more to grow what I'm doing? So it's about how you are viewing your challenge as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Benedict.
You're welcome.
I think we'll take one more question. I think Grace here, she said that agricultural mindset, how do we make it more appealing? Do you think it is because people do not like the percentage of return? Is it because people who have made it had a significant had a significant high profile? That's why people don't think they can make it. So going back, I think to the first thing you had mentioned was the mindset on agriculture in the country. Um, how do you make it more appealing to young people? I think you had mentioned one was showing examples to people of people who
Yeah.
have made it and people who are doing well. I don't know if you want
Mhm.
to
I
elaborate on
think,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I think there is a rebranding on agriculture. We have to rebrand on our social media. Some people can just say, I create content on how to rebrand agriculture, on how we talk about agriculture. And there is another things that we can share about success story, how people are. I saw a lady on Instagram who she calls agri sexy, something like this. She's so beautiful, and then she shared about a lot of good things about agriculture, and everyone wants to do agriculture. The is Tion Yang, he
Mm,
has done the campaign of Obama, and now he's back in Senegal. You know, this guy is also in like welcoming young people in agriculture. So he's making something to rebrand agriculture. And then success story as well. We need to celebrate the success story of people who are doing agriculture. And then I was saying about technology. If we bring technology in agriculture, it will attract a lot of people, because we will say there is not a lot hard work. We can use technology for Y, Z. So it will attract young people in agriculture as well.
mhm. Thanks for that. Um, does anyone have another question before we close off? I see our time is gone. I just have one more question, but I'd like to open it to the floor before I ask my last question. Yeah, Véridique, you can go.
Yeah, I have a last question, Benedict. It's about marketing, and I was involved in producing porridge back in Goma, which was highly nutritious, and but the problem was most of the time people were trying to associate a locally made product to low quality, right? They would rather buy something coming from Kenya or Egypt or Europe than buying something from locally. So I'd like to know what have been the challenges of being a local producer, and when I go to Kinshasa for the very first time, I told myself that Kinshasa is the land of opportunity because you have 14 million people in one city. It's like the whole of Zimbabwe in one city. So what are your plan to scale? What is do you think like what is what is that what how do I put it down? So how are you going? What are your plans to to go for that big market, like living from where you are right now to reaching like 101 million people in Kinshasa? Yeah.
So I was saying about how this is also a challenge. You have, I give myself, I just give an example. I live in Goma, and then I see a how to say a tomato coming from Rwanda,
Yeah.
very beautiful, very attractive.
Yeah.
Everything about that make you feel like I need to buy it, and it's cheaper.
Mhm.
And I see my friend, my Congolese brother, is selling a tomato is not really attractive, and
Yeah.
it's more expensive. As a human, I will buy the cheaper one and the most beautiful. I will not buy because the person is my brother or my sister, you see?
Yeah.
So sometimes we make a decision because of our brother and sister, but when we see our pockets, we say, let me buy the cheaper one and the beautiful quality because of that. There is something I always say to people. I know people who are very good on environment will maybe take me wrong, but let me just say it. I will try to say it in French. It will be more. I don't know if everyone understands French here. I will try to say it in French.
Go
So,
ahead.
il y a ce qu'on appelle euh, l'Europe, par exemple, quand ils ont commencé à se dire, OK, on va commencer à industrialiser l'agriculture. Alors, on avait besoin de produits chimiques pour industrialiser l'agriculture. Donc, on a dû à vraiment maximiser. Et là, maintenant, ils ont fait la suffisance alimentaire. Maintenant, ceux qui ont de l'argent se disent, OK, on va faire le bio. Ce qui fait que les gens commencent à manger bio, on commence à produire bio. Mais maintenant, nous, on n'a pas encore industrialisé notre agriculture. On pense directement au bio. Ce qui fait que nos produits coûtent plus cher. Pourquoi? Parce qu'on n'a pas industrialisé notre agriculture. Je pense que le produit chimique, on en a besoin. Je sais que beaucoup de personnes se disent que non, on n'en a pas besoin. On a besoin de produits chimiques pour industrialiser notre agriculture, intensifier notre production. Il y a d'autres personnes qui vont se dire, OK, je peux aussi utiliser, il y a d'autres solutions bio qui existent. S'il y a des solutions bio qui existent, mais on doit intensifier la production. L'intensification de la production va nous permettre à réduire d'abord le prix sur le marché et ça va nous permettre aussi d'avoir de produits de bonne qualité parce qu'on a intensifié, on a utilisé toutes les techniques possibles pour avoir des bonnes qualités. Et c'est ce que les voisins d'autres pays ont compris. Ils se sont dit, OK, je vais industrialiser la production. Mais on est tout le temps en train de pointer du doigt. L'Afrique du Sud met beaucoup de produits chimiques dans leur aliments. Ce n'est pas bien. C'est vrai que ce n'est pas bien à long terme, mais à un certain moment, on doit d'abord intensifier notre production.
Okay.
On doit intensifier notre production. S'il faut avoir un peu de produits chimiques, on le met. Et les gens qui auront de l'argent pour se dire, moi, je veux manger bio, OK, on va maintenant dans le bio. Mais l'Europe est allée directement dans l'intensification. Et quand ils ont vu le danger de l'intensification, ils ont commencé à penser maintenant comment aller bio. Et les gens qui ont l'argent achètent bio, mais les autres ne manquent pas la nourriture, ils mangent quand même. Mais quand même, le danger dans ça, c'est qu'on se retrouve avec des gens qui souffrent de cancer, qui souffrent de beaucoup de maladies. Mais on doit réfléchir comment intensifier notre agriculture. On ne doit pas rester dans le côté en train de réfléchir. Si j'intensifie ma production, il y aura ceci, il y aura cela. On doit réfléchir sur l'intensification et on doit aussi réfléchir sur garder les gens en vie, au fait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pardon.
I don't know if
Maintenant,
I
pour
answered the
intensifier, ça va
question.
prendre quoi? Like, besides government intervention and like actual businesses that have the funds to do that,
Allô?
what's going to take to intensify the actual agricultural process?
Benedict is frozen. You're back.
Yeah, there are many solutions to. Ouais, il y a plusieurs solutions d'intensifier la production. Il y a les produits chimiques, par exemple. Il y a des gens qui ont utilisé des produits chimiques pour intensifier leur production. Il y a les vertical farming, par exemple, les personnes qui ont fait des vertical farming dans différents pays. Il y a différents pays aussi qui ont fait, disons, la production agricole hors sol. Par exemple, le aquaponique, le hydroponique, tout ce qui va avec. Donc, il y a aussi des productions hors sol. Il y a des gens qui ont développé des solutions, par exemple, pour faire mettre des nutriments dans le sol, pour permettre au sol de bien accueillir la nourriture et de produire à contre-saison plusieurs fois. Donc, vous pouvez faire beaucoup de recherches sur l'intensification de la production. Et ça, c'est juste quelques exemples. Vertical farming que j'ai vu, les produits chimiques qu'on a besoin. Il y a aussi le, la production hors sol qui existe. Donc, il y a eu beaucoup de gens qui ont essayé de développer des solutions sur l'intensification de la production, de l'agriculture.
But how do we balance it? Because tu as parlé de, for example, regenerative agriculture. Et on trouve que beaucoup de gens partent maintenant vers regenerative agriculture parce qu'ils ont trouvé qu'avec l'intensification, comme tu dis là, ça abîme aussi like, les sols et c'est pas aussi vraiment bon pour l'environnement. So, comment garder that balance? Et puis, comme tu as parlé aussi que les produits chimiques, like, I know c'est difficile, actually. Like, it's a difficult question because to a certain extent, comme on parle de climate change and fossil fuels, and on dit, like, beaucoup de pays, ils ont eu la chance pour industrialiser et ils sont arrivés à un certain niveau et now ils peuvent parler que non, n'utilisez plus les cours, n'utilisez plus les histoires parce qu'ils sont arrivés au niveau là, mais on n'est pas encore là. So, comment balancer que aussi pour like our future generation so they don't end up in the situation that we're in now. I know it's like it's our time is up and it's going to go into a lot. I see more questions are going on to the chat. But yeah, is that maybe what you do at Agriboost Consulting as well to kind of see comment balancer so we don't go to any extreme, but we help the environment and our people, but we also know qu'on veut que l'économie grandit, the industry s'agrandit, like on peut balancer ça comment?
Alors, how to create a balance? How to create a balance? I think on peut toujours penser, par exemple, l'agriculture régénérative qui existe, qui peut faire un peu de balance. On peut penser aussi à former les gens quand ils utilisent les pesticides ou bien ce produit chimique, comment respecter, parce qu'il y a beaucoup qui ne respectent pas. Donc, on peut faire des campagnes pour comment faire respecter, exemple, quand vous utilisez les produits chimiques, comment respecter tout ça, la notice, n'est pas débordée, n'est pas exagérée parce que tu dois te faire de l'argent. Donc, la prise de conscience de personnes en question. On peut, comme je disais, on peut faire l'agriculture régénératrice. Donc, tout ça, je pense que ça peut créer des balances. Mais, exemple, les personnes qui sont très forts en tout ce qui est réchauffement climatique, tout ce qui va avec, essayons vraiment de donner les bonnes informations aux gens et sensibiliser les gens. Exemple, nous, on travaille avec les agriculteurs. On peut dire aux agriculteurs, écoutez, évitez ça, respectez ça, faites ceci. Vous voyez, donc du coup, ça nous permet aussi de participer à ne pas laisser les gens à faire n'importe quoi. Donc, it's a matter of information as well and sensibilisation.
Okay. I saw I missed a question here. This is a quick one. Do you consult on those other points you brought up, such as opportunities within the industry, such as transportation of goods for the producers, packaging, etc.? Agriboost consulting.
Yeah, we do the consulting on the whole value chain in agriculture.
Okay. Yeah, I think our time we've gone way over. So I would just ask my last question before we jump off. It's a pretty simple question, but you spoke about you I think you broke it down very well about having a vision and sticking to the vision even if the strategy changes. What is your vision for the food system in Congo? And where do you see it 10, 15, 20 years from now? And how do you see yourself playing a part in it?
So from my side, I want to be part of people who will create new policies and new strategic to help the country to do to like as the topic that you have to like to be part of people who will create policy and strategic. So, on va avoir la suffisance alimentaire in DRC. So this is one of my big vision, and then to have one of the biggest processing company in DRC.
That's to the point, and I don't doubt that you will have that in the near future. I don't doubt that at all. Thank you so much for your time. I always feel like there's so much more to learn from you. And I think it makes sense now why you have a consultancy because you have such a vast range of knowledge, a broad range of knowledge and expertise on the topic. And I think everyone on this call can really say that they've learned a thing or two. So I think keep on doing the good work that you're doing, and no doubt, I think you'll reach your vision and you'll see your vision become a reality. I think lastly, if anyone wants to reach you, where can they reach you? Where can they find you? Do you prefer LinkedIn? Do you prefer Instagram, email? How can people contact you?
Yeah, I can share this WhatsApp number. It's available for as well.
Okay. So you'll just put it on the net.
Yeah. And then there is also my Twitter, Instagram are more accessible, and LinkedIn as well.
Okay. So it would just be Benedicte
Mundele
Kuvuna.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Benedicte. Thank you everyone for joining. It was a really interesting conversation. As usual, I'll post the recording on YouTube so you can go back and listen to it as well. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Josephine.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.